What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button and hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. With this video, we are jumping into Savage Spider-Man issue number 4. If you have not been keeping up with this mini-series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. And what we have seen so far, an organization known as the Immaculatum. They invented a drug called A+. We saw that Spider-Man had been injected with this A+ serum. They dropped him on a deserted island with Zemo. After a huge battle, Zemo has decided to join this organization as they thrive for world domination. The only thing that he truly asks for is Europe. And with Spider-Man turning into Savage Spider-Man because of this A+, during this battle, something happens to him. He goes into a almost cocoon state after they try to destroy him. And breaking out of this cocoon, this is where we see a new, improved Peter Parker. Be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 4, we are picking up with Peter Parker. Except this Peter Parker, he is not the savage beast that we just recently saw. This is an overly logical Spider-Man, making his observations. He is seeing the Immaculatum. They have a Hydra ship that they do all of their operations out of. Their flying fortress is their headquarters. And so Peter Parker knows if he wants to stop them, he has to get up there. Doing his calculations, recognizing that his body has changed in some kind of way, shape, or form, knowing exactly how far his webbing is going to take him, knowing that he won't be able to reach the ship without some kind of other means. And so grabbing hold of a sewer grate, he uses this by propelling himself from the building, throwing the grate up into the air, and this sends him careening towards the Hydra flying fortress, making observations that his body has undergone multiple transformations. Believing that the A+ serum, it allowed some kind of hyperactive regenerative response in his body. When he molted in the last issue, we saw him go from Savage Spider-Man to this overly logical Spider-Man. His savage form had gone into the molting process like many spider species have been known to do. This is usually triggered by severe bodily harm. The evidence to prove this to be true is that he is still alive. After being incinerated, his intelligence has returned with lingering biological changes, such as red webbing, red eyes, so on and so forth. This is where he recognizes all of the inhabitants that were on that island. They were all test subjects. The only issue is, they are not like Spider-Man. They could not survive extreme damage and harm. And though he would love to dig deeper into what is going on with him, he knows that Zemo and Wolf, they need to be stopped. He has less than 30 minutes to stop them from detonating A+ across the globe, this being the central hub for their entire operation. He needs to disrupt all of these operations so that he can succeed in this situation, saying that he has no time to call for aid. He wastes no time getting into this fight. As he comes out in his brand new Spidey suit, his intelligence is greater. He starts by disassembling all of Zemo's troops, outthinking, outplaying, and disabling every single appendage of this Immaculatum. This is all in an effort to save humanity. Now this is where we pick up with Zemo and the Immaculatum group. We are seeing the source of everything. That source is the Mad Thinker. They are using him as a supercomputer. A+ was him. He created the whole serum to begin with. The Mad Thinker, he decided to join with them because he just wanted an opportunity to sit in solitude and think. The Immaculatum, that is exactly what they they are giving him. When they rule the world, Mad Thinker will be allowed to sit in solitude undisturbed and have nothing but time to think. Now, as they are about to test and see if Zemo is actually truly pure enough to be part of their organization, over the intercom, this is where we hear Spider-Man, letting them know that this is over. As the flying fortress begins to have vibrations and rumblings all throughout the ship, Spider-Man is letting us know this is a series of coordinated explosions around the fortress. The computer is reading critical errors, signals from all engines, navigation, cooling systems, a little bit of everything. Despite the upgrades to this ship, it is about to go down. At first, Zemo thinks that this is a bluff. This Spider-Man is just lying so that they can buy time. Spider-Man calling this out, saying that this is no such thing. If you guys do the math, if you see everything going on, you'll know that this is not a bluff. Because while this ship may crash into a huge population, there are roughly 700,000 living victims of A+ in Memphis and New York. The population of Earth is 7.75 billion. A 0.009% loss of population is an acceptable loss for our new logical Spider-Man. This is when Zemo realizes this is not the Spider-Man that he knows, and that this might not actually be a bluff. Them letting Spider-Man know that they have 20 minutes before things go fully operational. That is plenty of time for them to go and find him, take him down, and fix the ship. What they didn't recognize is he plugged up one of the exhaust vents. The exhaust vent that goes directly towards the main mainframe, which means they only have about 10 minutes before this place goes up in smoke. As one of the members of the Immaculatum goes flying through this ship trying to find Spider-Man, what they learn is that there are booby traps laid across the entire fortress. Zemo, the whole time, he is trying to let Wolf and everyone know that this is not Spider-Man. And if it is Spider-Man, there is no way he is going to do this. He is not this brutal. He is not this savage. Spider-Man calling out every single move that they are making. Zemo is trying to let them know to slow down. Like, you guys need to stop, pump the brakes, and listen. He is calling out every move that we are making before we even make it. But before they know it, through all of their arguing, this is when Spider-Man descends down on top of them. And so one by one, he starts battling all of the members of Immaculatum, starting with Wolf. With very precise calculations, with extreme precision, he is making his way through all of these guys. The one thing he did not expect was the mainframe to be the Mad Thinker. Though this is inconsequential, he needs to continue this operation. He starts pulling all of the plugs. With the Immaculatum now locked out of the mainframe, Spider-Man is in here by himself, left to his own devices. As they are trying to break into the room, this is when they learn that everything Spider-Man has said was a lie. It was all false flags. He had gotten into the diagnostic system. He made every system appear as if they were having errors. This means that the ship is fully operational. With the doors opening up, we see Zemo take his pistol and he guns down Spider-Man as they vote to accelerate everything going on to ensure that Spider-Man cannot stop this in any way, shape, or form. We see every missile loaded with A+. It heads off of this ship and it goes around the world, with Zemo putting multiple rounds into Spider-Man's body, ensuring and hoping that he doesn't get back up. But even with their whole operation being more or less successful, Wolf feels like there is something off. And that is when there is a huge explosion. Both Wolf and Zemo caught in this blast. Spider-Man getting back up to his feet. This was all part of his plan. Now he knows that ego is stronger than intellect, but it is also the font of all suffering. If you eliminate ego, you eliminate suffering, you eliminate prejudice, you eliminate mistrust, you eliminate ideological warfare. Spider-Man recognizing that A+, it is humanity's salvation, only under the right supervision. The console that he is at is the only spot from which an A+ program may be altered, as he closes himself off inside of this place. This is exactly what he wanted. He wanted them to fire the missiles prematurely, wanted to ensure that A+ couldn't be reprogrammed. He is going to take over the mainframe from the inside, letting them know that they stole genius from the mad thinker. Peter Parker, he was born with it. Now we are gonna find out who should be reprogramming the world. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This one was a lot of fun. I have thoroughly enjoyed this transformation of Spider-Man. You know, it started out as our savage Spider-Man, but he went through the molting process after he was almost killed. And in doing so, it has made him extremely logical. Logical to a fault, because he is not taking emotion into any of this. The thought process is a small significant of individuals could lose their lives. If we can reprogram A+, we can eliminate ego, and we could change the world. Now, obviously, this is not superhero thinking. The idea of taking this away from everyone, not giving them the choice, that goes against every single thing a superhero stands for. But outplaying, outsmarting, and outmaneuvering the Immaculatum and Zemo, he is now in control. More or less, we're gonna see a battle between the Mad Thinker and him. A battle of intellect to see who is going to have absolute control over the system. The question is, if Spider-Man wins, who could possibly stop him? Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the Super Thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. If you can't do that, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you like this video, and until the next breakdown.